Hey, what's up, clever investors? Sperber here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we have a special guest. We have Forrest, who runs our entire wholesaling division here at our company. And I wanted to talk about, just have like a candid conversation and talk about how the market has shifted, how the wholesaling market specifically has shifted, and some of the power moves we are making behind the scenes to shift with it. Look, guys, if you're in wholesaling, if you're an active real estate investor, you felt it. Like 2 months ago, you felt it. The market literally went like this. Like hedge funds stopped buying, money left the market, DSCR loans increased, mortgage rates increased, everything increased, and buyers just stopped buying. And that's tough for a wholesaling business.
It is.
I mean, we
It's
were
been a
like,
challenge.
what do we do?
Yeah.
And thankfully, you know, going through 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, like as the market shifted, I was kind of preaching and trying to get out in front of it. So we were a little prepared, but it still is never fun. And so if you're new, this is gonna be a great video for you because we're gonna give you some tactical things that you can go out and do immediately to sell more wholesale deals. The good news is buyers are coming back.
They are.
That is the good news.
They are.
But you got to do
Slowly,
some things.
but they're there.
You got to do some things to actually get them back, right? And get them on board. Wholesaling's already tough. Co-wholesaling's already tough. Let's just get into it. Let's just get into it because I think if they start processing like this, they're going to be able to get more deals, not only under contract, but then sell more to their cash buyers.
Sure.
Wholesaling, we have other videos on this channel on what is wholesaling. If you don't even know what that is, go watch some of those videos. This is really for somebody who's trying to wholesale. You already understand what wholesaling is, and now it's just like, how do I get more deals done and get more consistency in a changing economy? All right, so let's just kind of run through your list.
Yeah.
Hit me with like some things that we've done to shift.
Well, the big thing is getting creative, right? It's not just in creative finance, right? You got to get creative on how you're framing deals and what's really sexy for your buyers. You can offer to pay some of your buyers' fees. That's one thing that we're working on with a lot of our buyers. It eases up because right now, historically, most of you out there can attest to this, that we were picking up deals around the 65, sometimes 70 cents on the dollar mark, and that's really where the flippers and investors are buying right now. Mm-hmm. So we really have to be aggressive, and we have to be able to, and nobody likes a low offer, right? Sellers don't want to hear that, and now we're coming even lower. So you really have to be aggressive on your numbers, but you have to explain that to them. It's like if you don't tell the joke right, the punchline's just not funny. So getting them in front of the computer. In sales, we do this audible sale, right? Everybody's doing it over the phone, but you can always get further the more senses you can appeal to them on. So get them in front of the computer. Get it to be a visual sale. Walk them through Zillow. If they're saying, listen, my property is worth $700,000 on Zillow, take them and look at that property. Okay, so does yours have this cascading center island? No. Does it have the Viking appliance pack? No. Do you have the Do you have the new floor? No. It's okay. It's okay, but you see that this isn't a comparable property. It's educating them that what they're actually looking at is not really what their property is worth. This is an after repair value house. That's why the value is there, and educating them. Further education on market stats, talking about how June inflation spiked by 9.1%. That's historic.
Yeah.
We have historic numbers happening right now on price drops.
Yeah,
everything.
Like for here in Arizona, and I pulled this up because I just wanted to share some of this stuff with you. Right now, it's August 16th as the moment we're recording this video. We'll probably post this in a week or two, so it'll be a little dated, but this isn't going to be that far off if you're watching this sometime around August or September. Here in Arizona, we've seen our active listings in like a 2.5 month period go from 8,000 active listings to 18,500 active listings. So more than doubled, all right? Active listings are up 155.7% from year over year. That's a lot of more active listings. That means more options, right? It's always supply and demand. Another thing that I look at is that listings under contract, okay? This is all MLS data. Listings under contract dropped by 29.2%. Closed sales are down 33.1% year over year. Days on market are up to 22 days from 13 days. So properties, before they get under contract, is shifting up. By the way, 22 days is still great. Like, it's still a great time to be in real estate, but it just shows you the trend of where things are going. Prices jumped by 11.4%. The average house in Arizona is now $450,000. Another stat I watch closely is the listing success rate, like how many listings actually get scooped up and how many go back and get taken off the market. In May, it was at 91%, so 91% of every listing sold. Now it's at 73% as of August 1st.
That's a big shift.
Big shift. Now, during the meltdown, okay, average is 67%. During the meltdown in 2008, it went to 20.4%. So 1 out of every 5 houses actually sold. When you are educating a seller on this kind of stuff, like, it's not deniable. It's like, I'm not making this up. These are stats. So like, we print stuff like this out and empower our team when they're working with the seller. Like, this is what we're dealing with. We're not trying to lowball you, but this is the reality of the direction of the market. So the offer I give you today is not going to be the offer I end up giving
100%
you 2 weeks from now. So if you want to think about it, but just know my offer is going to be lower next time we talk.
I tell them, I said, listen, I'm giving you the front parking space at Disneyland right now. You're welcome to drive around and think about it, but it's going to be gone by the time you come back, right? Because everything's shifting and everything's correcting and the prices are going down and down. It's not a crash, it's a correction, but prices are definitely going down and you have to educate them. Look, guys, you guys are all following this. You're following everything we're talking about. You guys are investors and flippers, and that's why you guys that's why everybody is aware of that. You know who's not aware of it? The end buyers, right? The retail buyers. They don't know exactly all of these stats and these figures. You have to educate them, right? You have to educate your sellers and your, the end buyer. That's where you start getting into novations and you start doing some creative finance and things like that, because if you can get your deals to the end buyers and bypass flippers and investors, you're going to see a much more healthy uptick on your sales price.
Better return.
But educate the sellers that are talking to you, because honestly, we talk to people all day long. They have no idea what's going on in the market. And, PPC leads have spiked by about 2,700%, and that's going up. And
what do you mean by that?
Well, so as far as I'm concerned, there's been a lot of procrastination in the market, right? There's been a lot of these sellers that knew that prices were going up. They knew that they had all this equity. At this point, I call it, false equity. It's fake equity. But everything's gone up and they procrastinated. And now that they know that there's a correction happening, it's kind of like when you hit a peak. But the peak on the mountain is the most narrow point. And then it's all downhill from there. So they're getting in hot and fast and they're submitting forms and they're getting in there and we've got a lot more leads coming in, but they're money minded. They're not pain motivated, they're money motivated.
So it's almost like a little FOMO. They're like, hey, I still got to get the top of the market. I got to get out now.
They're trying to grab it.
We're seeing a bunch of people dump their secondary properties. Dump the single one-off Airbnb that they kind of ran not very good. They made a little bit of money, but they're like, hey, it's top of the market. Let me get rid of it. They're getting rid of their vacation homes. They're getting rid of their accidental rentals.
Tired landlords, those lead lists are hitting hard.
People who sat and waited a little too long, and now all of a sudden are like, oh my God, we got to sell, honey. We got to sell right now. Those are the ones that are hitting the market right now, but they're sitting. So you just got to come in the front door and say, look, this is the reality. You're not going to get what you want. And you got to be brutally honest with the seller right now. This isn't there's so much competition coming for them. Let me kind of slow play this. No, you got to hit them hard out of the gates.
I create seller credibility decks that talk about the company, but inside of there, I'm mentioning stats. And I'm citing those stats, New York Times, CNN, et cetera, so that they can go and view them themselves. But they have to know. The first thing you can ask a seller is, how do you like the gas prices right now? And it's a really good segue for them to start understanding that everything is so expensive. Food's gone up 1%, shelter's gone up, everything's gone up, but wages haven't. So we've got this whole dichotomy going on where they need to be educated.
Wages with inflation put back into it have gone down.
Yeah. So it's a very interesting situation that we're in right now. This is not 2021 anymore. It's not going to be as easy to wrangle these deals and to pick up and acquire new properties.
Hardcore education of the sellers and the buyers. Okay. Pay for their fees or closing costs, or get creative with other benefits.
Make it sexy.
Right? Yeah. Benefits that they can have. How are we getting aggressive with our wholesale marketing of our deals? Is it just, hey, we'll if you're a realtor, we'll pay you a fat commission. If you're a cash buyer, rehabber, landlord, we'll pay for your closing costs.
First of all,
what else-
agent
what else-
outreach is something that I recommend for everybody to do, and giving them a little incentive on top of the deal to be able to work with us is that works. But you're also creating a relationship with those agents. They're going to send you properties. They may even walk properties for you because they want that relationship. So we're doing a lot with agents right now in agent outreach and sweetening those deals so that they can be more confident to work with us as opposed to somebody else. And in your local market, you can buy their attention. But you have to get creative. That's really the bottom line right now. Creative financing terms. Don't just be a one-trick pony where you're offering a cash offer, take it or leave it, yes or no. You want to get yourself into a which one, not a yes or no. So offering the cash offer, offering creative finance on sub 2, offering novations. Get them to throw listings under the bus. The reason you probably are calling me is because you don't like a listing, right? Explain that to me and let them talk about that, and that could potentially set you up for doing that novation deal where you say, listen, I hear the headache you're afraid of. I hear the circus you want to stay away from. Let me run the circus. Let me do all that stuff for you. Let's get you a guaranteed price. You're the only one that's got a guarantee in this situation. All the risk's on me, so I've got to work really hard and pull out all the stops and be smart about this to get your property done, to get you to the finish line on that contract. So be creative with your sellers, educate your sellers, and on the buy side, you've got to make sure that these deals are sexy. We use the term deal a lot, and it gets really diluted. Did you get a deal this week? Yeah, I did. You got a contract. If I ask you, did you get a deal on that hat? What am I asking? Did you get a bargain? These deals have to be bargains, folks. You've got to be picking up bargains. They've got to be a bargain. Otherwise, there's no way that you're going to be able to turn around and sell it to a flipper or even an end buyer because, again, it's just not sexy. So you've got to make these deals sexy, and if the numbers don't line up, then you can go ahead and offer, to pick up the buyer's fees, and there's a lot of ways to do it.
Yeah, one of the other things that we do a lot is we build relationships with local hard money lenders, and we through our if we get a deal under contract, we'll already pre-create that relationship with the lender to have built-in financing terms, so that way when we market it out to our wholesale list, we could say, hey, this already is pre-qualified for funding from whatever built in. So that way they're already thinking oh wow, they're full service. They're not just trying to wholesale me a deal. They're going to connect me with contractors. They're going to pay for my fees. They're going to connect me with financing. They're going to take care of me, and they're a full service wholesaling company, not just somebody remarketing other people's properties and blasting them out, and then we don't take care of our customers. Another thing that you can do that is a little creative, let's say one of your cash buyers buys a property from you right now. Send them a gift basket.
Yes.
Go above and beyond just normal wholesaler and put in there a Willy Wonka golden ticket and say, this is good for $5,000 off your next purchase with us.
I love that, yeah.
Just be as creative as you can to stand out from the rest of your competition. Now, what about collaboration right now?
So that's as you were talking, that was kind of hitting me. Guys, don't let greed kill the deal. I know that there's a lot going on right now, and any deal that you have coming in, you really want to offload and you want to maximize your profit. But networking and safety in numbers and working with people is a very powerful thing. And I know that we have a couple of solutions for everybody out there that we're having a lot of success in offloading deals in-house, but for everybody that we work with. And I know this really cool guy named Cody Sperber who has developed a network that is larger than anything that I have encountered in the past. And because of that and the credibility that goes with it, it makes my job easier because I'm able to knock on doors and people answer, and they answer with gratitude and this kind of David and Goliath solution where they're working with this big entity, and that's power on our side. And we can work with you guys if you send us the deals. We have Do Deals with Me.
Yeah, Do Deals with Me, and I would highly recommend if you're new and you don't have a big cash buyer database. We have over 2 million cash buyers on our database. We've been doing this for 18 years. Have a lot of connections, a lot of relationships, and we work really hard to not only coach our buyers on what's really going on in the market and build a relationship by doing all the things we're talking about in this video, but we know their buy boxes. We're very dialed in on exactly what they're looking for, and whether that buyer is a hedge fund, which most hedge funds stop buying, but there are a few that are still buying. Well, guess what? We spent years building relationship with these hedge funds. So the ones that are still buying still come to us looking to give them inventory. You might not have a relationship with a good buyer. And if you don't, then there's a link down below, and it should say Do Deals with Me or Do Deals with Us. Click it and go hear my pitch to you, which is how you can do deals with us for only $97. And what that does is it just separates looky-loos, somebody who's not serious about doing deals with us and somebody who actually is willing to pay to play with us. And then I'm going to give you free training. I'm going to give you a free deal finding software, and you're going to go out and find deals, but you don't have to worry about you just focus on acquisitions, and we'll focus on dispositions. We'll sell the deals to our cash buyer database, and we can sell them really fast because of all this work we put into building these relationships. So.
And we have teams that are constantly, here's the other thing too, you can have a database of all of your hedge funds and all of your buyers, and you've got your buy boxes there. But if you built that in 2021, or if you even built that 6 months ago, you need to be recontacting all of these people on a regular basis. And we have teams of people out here that are doing that are designated to revitalizing buy boxes, keeping relationships going. Just like in any company, staff changes. You've got people coming and going. And if you had a relationship with Tommy at some hedge fund and Tommy is gone, you need a new relationship. You need a new way to get into there. And that's something that has given us even more power, is focusing on our data and making sure that our data, which is the buy box criteria, is clean, is up to date. Because if we're sending over a bunch of properties to somebody on an old buy box, what are we creating? Noise. And that noise creates a rift in the relationship, and potentially that hedge fund or that buyer is going to start seeing emails from us, and it's all dead wood, and they don't like any of it, and now we're on their list, pardon me, for that's the kind of deals we send them.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't fit.
That goes bigger than just not understanding a buyer's buy box. If you're sending out crappy deals constantly, they're going to put you in spam.
That's your reputation.
They're going to unsubscribe, or they're going to stop opening your emails. And that's why it's better to send out quality deals than just a barrage of really crappy deals to look like you're doing business. You get what I'm saying? Here's another thing, and let's give them 2 more good tips, and then we'll wind this video down. Don't be scared to go and renegotiate with your sellers. Like, sometimes it's really hard to get a seller to come down in price. Okay, lock up the deal. Like, it's better, like, wholesaling is a game of control. It's better to at least get it under contract, as long as your contract terms give you an out and you don't go hard on your earnest. Don't be scared once you put it under contract. If you realize, man, I'm 20 grand, 30 grand higher than I need to be. All of my cash buyers are telling me I need to be down here. Don't be scared to go back to the seller and retrade or renegotiate to get back in alignment with you able to wholesale the deal. Even if you're only going to make 5 or 10 grand, it's better to go back to the seller and say, look, here's the reality.
Yep.
I thought I could pay this amount, but here's all the research I did since I put it under contract.
During the due diligence period.
My contractor went out there, and here's the inspection report, or here's, like, we have an inspector we work with that does like a mini inspection. They'll go out there, or they'll do a drive-by, and they'll create like a little mini inspection report for like $300-400. Best $300 or $400 we've ever spent, because then we can give that to the seller and say, hey, here's all the stuff that needs repaired that we didn't see when we first looked at it. We're not asking you to take a massive, $80K discount, but can you come down $10K? And if you come down $10K, then we'll get the deal for it. If we can't, my business partner wants to walk away from the deal, and I would hate to have that happen to us because we've worked so hard to get it to the finish line. Like, imagine if you're like 2 days away from closing. The seller is already emotionally checked out.
Yep.
They're ready to move. They're ready to get their money. And then you do a retrade like that. 10, 15, 20 grand. Get it back in alignment so you can still make a wholesale fee. We do it all the time, and especially in a market that's kind of going like this. All right, that's one of the last tips.
Transparency on that is really what's key, and that's setting the parameters up from the very beginning. So even before you contract, you want to be very transparent that, listen, once we get into our due diligence period, we're going to uncover as much about this property as possible. It's how we evaluate our exit strategies. So they're prepared for that during that due diligence and inspection period. For instance, we have a property in Southern California right now. It's out in Laguna Beach, and after we put it under contract, 2 days later, a new comp popped up that changed the cost per square foot drastically, and it's like a $200,000 deficit. Now, if I just contacted that seller and said, hey, Mr. Seller, just kidding, I want to be 200 grand less, that punchline of that joke sucks, right? So you have to do the setup properly, and he has to be willing to know that this conversation may be coming into play during that due diligence period. And that transparency from the very get-go throughout the entire process is so important. And just be honest. We're in real estate. There's nothing nefarious about what we're doing here. You don't need to pull punches. You don't need to exaggerate. You don't need to lie and, oh, it's my painter coming by, but it's really a buyer. Tell them, listen, part of our exit strategy is to explore investor partners. Sometimes I work with a partner in an area because they have better labor costs than I do. That way, that when somebody's showing up, they know exactly what's going on, and then you can go and show them the stats. You can say, listen, this is what my guy uncovered, and this is where I sit now. And with that transparency, you're really able to navigate the deal a lot better.
We disclose everything. It's always better to fully disclose everything, especially if you're licensed in anything.
Yeah.
We're licensed contractors and licensed real estate agents. We just have to over disclose. And so that's a great tip.
Yeah.
Last tip, and then we're going to let you go. This video got a little long, but I think it's good to have this just kind of raw, honest conversation. Don't be scared to wholesale in a time like this. Like, good properties on the MLS sell quickly if they're priced right. Right? I just told you, days on market out here for not even perfectly priced properties is 22 days. I mean, that's a pretty good, like, I know within 30 days I can get my property sold.
Right.
So don't be scared to find a money partner that will take the property down and then wholesale it, right? Wholesaling is listing a fix and flip property on the MLS at a discount from retail. So you still leave some meat on the bones, but you're able to sell it for a little bit more than you would if you just did a normal wholesale channel because there are more retail buyers. Somebody's gonna buy that, fix it up, and then live in it, chances are. And so wholesaling is a great way to get, if you have a very small spread as a wholesale deal and you want a bigger spread, bring in a money partner, close the deal, list it on the MLS. Like maybe you paint and carpet. Maybe you just make it smell good. But then you get
Just
the thing
some polish.
on, just some polish.
Yep.
So that way when they walk in, they can see like, all right, this has potential.
Yep.
And then you can sell it for $20,000, $30,000 more and make a quick profit.
It's all about being creative.
The other end of that, he said it a couple times, is novate. Okay? This is not a video teaching you novations, but novations are essentially a way to wholesale a property on the MLS. We'll leave that for a future video, but if you are hungry and you Google novations and how to novate a property, it's a cool way. There is a paperwork trick.
Sure.
There is a way to set it up. It would take a whole training video to put it together for you, but you can essentially lock up a deal that you have not closed on, you do not own, and then lock it up as a non-licensed person and put it on the MLS, sell it, and make a profit.
For you realtors out there, it used to be called a net listing. Very similar, very similar in stature.
Yeah.
But they're guaranteed a price, and then you do a little bit of marketing, a little bit of spit and polish, and you take care of it on the back end. But you guys just have to be creative. Don't just think about, here's my cash offer, take it or leave it. You have to really work at these deals. It's not as easy to lock up deals right now in this market than it was in 2021. We have to work a little bit harder. We have to break out and dust off our sales skills, and we have to be creative. So if there's anything that we can leave you with, it's get creative right now. Make the deals sexy and educate your sellers and educate them on the market right now. The media is not talking about it. We're in an election year, right? So you have to lean into that and educate your sellers on what's going on. And if you can get it to an end buyer, you don't need to educate them. You want them to go ahead and keep those blinders on and buy the property at full value. So
yeah, and there's probably 30 steps to wholesaling a house from start to finish. There's all kinds of steps. Or there could be 3 for you, which is doing deals with us. You do the front little portion using some of the tools that we give you. We'll handle all the rest, and we'll split the profits 50-50. So
yeah.
Co-wholesaling.
Yeah, that's really
essentially
what
we're doing.
Don't bite off more than you can chew. Just focus on what you're good at, and let us take care of the stuff on the back end. And we love to partner with everybody, and we love expanding this dude's network over here.
That's right.
It's awesome.
Click the link down below if you want to learn more about doing deals with us. For everybody else, hopefully you got some value out of this video. We encourage you to keep going. The wholesale business, like if I was to list, should you be rehabbing over the next year or two? Only if you buy them at massive discounts. You got to buy right, and you got to get your financing on point. You got to get your contractors and subcontractors in alignment, and do not over rehab right now. Rehabbing is more like you got to have good skills and buy them right and good financing to do that. Airbnbs, I would not be an accidental Airbnb investor right now. But if you are serious about running Airbnbs like a boss, I love the Airbnb business because it's actually cheaper than renting a hotel. You get 5 bedrooms, you bring in 2 big families in there, and it's way cheaper than renting hotels. So I think Airbnbs are going to do a good job, but you got to be a professional Airbnb host.
Yeah.
Got to get the reviews up, got to theme it out, it's got to actually be ran right. If you were to say, how's wholesaling going to be over the next 2 years? I'd say, that's the business. That business is going to scale. And even as the market goes down, as the market's going down, we're just buying below the median more aggressively. And as it gets worse and worse and the news puts out worse and worse information, it gets easier to lock it up for a better deal. And as long as you're always down here, you're not going to get hurt. You're still going to find the cash buyers live down here, right? The retail buyers are up here. And us wholesalers are way, way down here. So you're able to get some killer deals as it gets worse in the market and the news gets worse. Wholesaling becomes actually pretty profitable. So Get out there and wholesale more houses. That's all I got. Till next time, we're out of here. Take care. Come here. See you soon.